Today, we're cutting through the noise. No marketing gloss, no brand worship, no influencer fantasy, just real talk. Because if you've spent even 5 minutes on YouTube, Instagram, or tech Twitter lately, you've seen it. Everyone acts like Ray-Ban Meta glasses are the second coming of wearable tech. Like if you don't own a pair, you're somehow behind the future. And honestly, that narrative deserves to be challenged. Not with hate, not with drama, but with facts, real world. Usage and perspective. Because the truth is, a lot of people aren't switching to Ray-Ban Meta glasses because they're the best. They're switching because they're the loudest. And those two things are not the same. Here's the cold reality. Ray-Ban Meta glasses look great. No argument there. They're stylish, familiar, and socially acceptable in a way most smart glasses still aren't. You can walk into a cafe wearing them and nobody freaks out. You might even get a compliment. That matters to a lot of people. But once you get past the compliments and the novelty, you start asking a different question. What am I actually getting for my money? And more importantly, what am I not getting? Because for a starting price around $300 and climbing much higher depending on lenses and configuration, you'd expect something truly capable. Something that feels like the future on your face. And instead, what you get is a product that prioritizes branding and aesthetics over depth and utility. No display at all. Battery life that struggles to last a solid half day. Audio that's usable but far from impressive. And water resistance that makes you nervous the moment clouds show up in the sky. That's not futuristic. That's cautious. That's safe. That's expensive minimalism. Now let me be very clear before the comments explode. This is not a Ray-Ban Meta hate video. They're not trash, they're not useless. They do what they're designed to do. They let you take quick photos and short videos hands-free. They let you listen to audio without earbuds. They let you interact with Meta's voice assistant for basic tasks. And they wrap all of that in a frame that looks like classic Ray-Bans. That's the appeal. But the problem is, a lot of people think that's the ceiling of smart glasses. And it's not. Not even close. There are other smart glasses out there right now that cost less, do more, and focus on actual functionality instead of lifestyle vibes. They're not trying to be fashion statements. They're trying to solve problems. And once you see what those glasses offer, the Ray-Ban Meta glasses start looking less like the future and more like a polished first draft dot. So today, we're skipping the hype. I'm breaking down smart glasses that quietly outperform Ray-Ban Meta glasses in meaningful ways, not because they're cooler, not because they're trendier, but because they're better at the job smart glasses are supposed to do. Work, entertainment, endurance, utility. Real-world stuff. And we're starting with a pair of glasses that immediately exposes one of the biggest weaknesses of the Ray-Ban Meta glasses: the complete absence of a display. The first pair is Rainio Air 3S. These glasses don't try to be subtle about what they are. They're not pretending to be normal eyewear. They don't care if you get compliments at a coffee shop. Their entire identity is built around one thing: turning your face into a personal screen. And they commit to that idea fully. Right away, the price changes the conversation. Rainio Air 3S typically comes in below the Ray-Ban Meta starting price, sometimes significantly lower depending on sales. And unlike Ray-Ban Meta, you're not paying extra just to get basic lens options. There's no luxury markup here. You're paying for hardware, and the hardware is where things get uncomfortable for Meta, because Rainio Air 3S actually has a display, a real one, built directly into the glasses. You're looking at a massive virtual screen experience that sits right in front of your eyes. Full HD resolution per eye, a high refresh rate, strong color coverage, and brightness levels that make them usable indoors and outdoors, depending on lighting conditions. This isn't a gimmick. This is the core of the product. Watching a movie on these feels nothing like watching something on your phone. Gaming feels immersive. Working with a laptop suddenly feels portable in a way Ray-Ban Meta simply cannot touch, because there's nothing to look at. With Meta, your glasses are basically fancy headphones with a camera. With Rainio, your glasses replace a screen. Before someone says, "Yeah, but that's not what Ray-Ban Meta is trying to do," that's exactly the point. Ray-Ban Meta isn't trying to do much beyond lifestyle convenience. Rainio Air 3S is designed for people who want function first. The experience is also refreshingly simple. There's no heavy app dependency, no ecosystem trap. You plug them in via USB-C to a phone, laptop, gaming handheld, or console, and they work. No account login. No social platform integration. No data ecosystem following you around. It's almost old school in the best way possible. Hardware does hardware things. Audio is another area where Rainio surprises people. Built-in speakers deliver fuller sound than you'd expect from glasses. Not because they're magic, but because the product prioritizes audio as part of the viewing experience. There's enough clarity in body that you don't immediately reach for headphones, especially when watching content or playing games in short sessions. Ray-Ban Meta audio works, but it feels secondary. Here, it feels intentional. Comfort is always the big question with display glasses. And yes, the Rainio Air 3S is heavier than Ray-Ban Meta. That's unavoidable. There's real tech inside. But the weight distribution, adjustable nose pads, and flexible arms make them wearable for extended sessions. You feel them, but they don't fight your face. That's an important difference. Now, are they perfect? No, they don't have a camera. They don't pretend to be AI companions. They don't try to replace your phone's intelligence. And for some people, that will be a deal breaker. But here's the key thing. They don't pretend to be something they're not. They offer a clear value proposition and execute on it extremely well. And when you put them side by side with Ray-Ban Meta glasses, the contrast is almost brutal. One gives you a screen. One doesn't. One turns idle moments into productivity or entertainment. One leans entirely on audio and short-form capture. Neither approach is wrong, but one clearly offers more tangible utility per dollar. This is where the bigger conversation starts. Because once you realize Ray-Ban Meta glasses don't even attempt to solve the display problem, you start asking what else they compromise on. And that question leads directly into the next category where Meta starts to look shaky. Battery life, because while Rainio focuses on sessions and expects you to plug in when you use them, Ray-Ban Meta promises always-on convenience. And that promise comes with some serious limitations. 4-ish hours of active use is not freedom. It's a reminder that your glasses dictate your schedule, not the other way around. And this is where the next pair of smart glasses enters the conversation. A pair that doesn't care about being flashy. A pair that doesn't chase trends. Pair that quietly does something Ray-Ban Meta struggles with every single day. Picking up right where we left off, once you realize that Ray-Ban Meta glasses already compromise on something as fundamental as battery life, the whole experience starts to feel fragile. And that's not something you notice in the first hour or two. You notice it when you stop thinking about the glasses and start living your day. That's when the cracks show. Because wearable tech isn't supposed to demand attention. It's supposed to disappear into your routine. And endurance is a huge part of that. This is where a lot of people quietly get frustrated with Ray-Ban Meta glasses. On paper, they're fine. In reality, 4 hours of mixed use feels short. Not unusable, not disastrous, but limiting. You start doing mental math. Should I record this? Do I really want to take this call on my glasses? What if I need them later? And the moment you start rationing features, the product stops feeling premium. It starts feeling delicate. That's why the next category of smart glasses matters so much. Not because it looks cooler, not because it has better branding, but because it respects your time. And that brings us to Lucid Nautica. Lucid Nautica doesn't come in swinging with luxury vibes. It doesn't chase fashion headlines. It doesn't try to be iconic. It shows up with one goal, lasting through a full day without drama. And the moment you look at the price, you already know this is a different conversation. We're talking about a pair of smart glasses that costs a fraction of Ray-Ban Meta glasses. Not slightly cheaper, radically cheaper. That alone forces you to reevaluate what you think smart needs to cost. But the price would mean nothing if the experience didn't hold up. And this is where Lucid surprises people. Battery life here isn't good for the price. It's genuinely strong. You get enough juice to make it through an entire workday of listening, calls, and voice interactions without needing a recharge. No charging case anxiety, no constant power awareness. You put them on in the morning and take them off at night. That alone changes how the glasses feel. You stop babying them. You stop checking battery levels. You just use them. And that's something Ray-Ban Meta struggles to offer unless you're very conservative with usage. Durability is another area where Lucid quietly flexes. These glasses are built to survive real life. Rain, dust, sweat. day-to-day exposure. They're not asking you to panic over weather forecasts. With Ray-Ban Meta, a little drizzle can change how you carry yourself. With Lucid, you don't think about it. You keep moving. Then there's the AI side, and this is where things get interesting, because unlike Meta's ecosystem-first approach, Lucid integrates voice-based assistance in a very practical way. It allows hands-free queries, translations, and basic interactions through an existing voice assistant pipeline. It's not flashy, it's not theatrical, but it's useful. You ask something, you get an answer, and you move on. The key difference here is intent. Ray-Ban Meta's assistant feels like part of a bigger platform strategy. Lucid's AI integration feels like a tool. It doesn't try to entertain you, it tries to help. And that matters when you're actually doing things like walking, working, or commuting. Controls are refreshingly simple. Physical buttons, actual tactile feedback. No guessing if your swipe registered. No accidental gestures. This becomes especially valuable in real-world conditions where touch controls struggle. Wet hands, gloves, movement. Physical input wins every time. Audio quality here is solid. Not mind-blowing, not audiophile grade, but clear enough for calls, podcasts, and music. And because these glasses are open-ear by design, you remain aware of your surroundings. That's not a compromise, that's the point. You hear traffic. You hear people, you stay present. Are there limitations? Of course, there's no camera. If capturing content hands-free is your priority, Ray-Ban Meta still has an edge there. And the design won't turn heads the same way Ray-Ban branding does. But that's not what Lucid is trying to win. It's trying to win the long game, the full day, the real routine, and when you step back and compare, something becomes obvious. Ray-Ban Meta glasses often feel like an accessory. Lucid Nautica feels like a tool. One asks for attention. The other just works. Now, some people will say, okay, but what if I want both? What if I want endurance and intelligence? What if I want glasses that do more than one thing well? And that's a fair question. Because smart glasses shouldn't force you to choose between features that feel basic in 2025, and that's where the next contender enters the conversation. A pair of glasses that doesn't just last longer than Ray-Ban Meta, but also stretches the definition of what smart glasses can do without crossing into gimmicks. This is where things really start to shift. Because the next option doesn't just outperform Meta in one area. It quietly outclasses it in several. And once you see that, the idea of paying a premium just for branding starts to feel harder to justify. And once you cross that mental line, once you accept that smart glasses don't have to be locked into a single brand ecosystem or a single definition of smart, you start paying attention to a completely different type of product. Not glasses that chase trends, but glasses that stack practical features in ways that actually change how you move through a day. That's where Solos Ergo 3 steps into the picture. Solos Ergo 3 feels like it's built by people who actually use smart glasses daily, not just demo them at launch events. The moment you pick them up, the design philosophy is clear. These aren't trying to be fashion icons. They're trying to be reliable. They're lighter than Ray-Ban Meta. They fold more compactly, and they're balanced in a way that doesn't constantly remind you they're sitting on your face. Battery life is where the contrast becomes impossible to ignore. Solos Ergo 3 runs for a full workday on a single charge. Music, calls, voice interactions, all of it. You're not watching the battery percentage tick down every hour. You're not mentally planning your usage. You just wear them. And that freedom is something Ray-Ban Meta users often don't realize they're missing until they try. Something else. Water and dust resistance also shift how you behave. These glasses are rated to handle real exposure. Rain, sweat, accidental splashes. You don't panic if you forget to take them off before stepping outside. With Ray-Ban Meta, that caution is always there in the background. With Solos, it fades away. Then there's the AI experience. Solos integrates voice-based AI in a way that feels intentional and functional. There's a dedicated control that lets you engage without fumbling or repeating wake words. You ask questions, get translations, and interact naturally. It doesn't feel like a novelty. It feels like a shortcut. Language translation is one of those features that sounds impressive on paper, but only matters if it works smoothly in practice. Here, it actually does. Multiple languages, real-time responses, and a flow that makes sense when you're traveling or talking to someone face-to-face. Ray-Ban Meta doesn't offer that same depth. And once you've experienced it, it's hard to go back. What really separates Solos from Meta, though, is versatility. These glasses aren't locked into one frame style. The smart temples detach. You can swap frames depending on your mood or setting without buying an entirely new device. That modularity sounds small until you realize how much it extends the lifespan of the product. It's not tied to one aesthetic moment. It grows with you. Fitness and wellness features add another layer. Step tracking, posture reminders, gentle nudges to move when you've been sitting too long. Nothing intrusive, nothing gimmicky. Just subtle data that complements daily life. Ray-Ban Meta doesn't even attempt this. If wellness matters to you, you're already carrying another device to cover that gap. Audio customization also makes a bigger difference than people expect. Multiple EQ profiles let you tune the sound for focus, relaxation, or clarity. Ray-Ban Meta's audio is serviceable, but it's static. What you hear is what you get. Solos Adapt's dot charging is refreshingly simple. No bulky proprietary case. No anxiety if you forget it at home. You plug in a standard cable and you're done. Again, it's a small thing that adds up over time. Convenience isn't flashy, but it's powerful. And perhaps most importantly, there's no camera here. That might sound like a drawback depending on your priorities, but for a lot of users, it's a relief. No awkward social moments. No privacy concerns. No wondering how people perceive you. These glasses blend in. They don't announce themselves. At this point, a pattern becomes very clear. Ray-Ban Meta glasses focus heavily on social capture and branding. Solos Ergo 3 focuses on daily functionality, endurance, and flexibility. Neither approach is wrong, but one of them aligns more closely with what most people actually need from wearable tech. And then there's one more category we haven't touched yet. Smart glasses designed not for offices or cafes, but for movement. For people who are constantly on the go. That's where Chamelo Music Shield enters the discussion. Chamelo Music Shield doesn't pretend to be subtle. Its wraparound design makes it obvious that this is a performance-focused product. Runners, cyclists, outdoor commuters. This is who it's built for. And the feature set reflects that focus from the first interaction. The standout feature is electrochromic lens tinting. With a simple tap, the lenses shift from clear to tinted almost instantly. No waiting, no transition delay. No need for multiple pairs of glasses. Ray-Ban Meta requires you to choose your lenses upfront or pay extra for transitions. Chamelo removes that friction entirely. Fit and stability are clearly priorities here. The frame grips securely. The nose pads are designed to stay in place even during movement. You don't feel like you're constantly adjusting or reseating the glasses. They stay where they're supposed to. Audio here is tuned differently from lifestyle-focused glasses. It's clear and balanced, designed to coexist with ambient sound rather than overpower it. That's critical outdoors. You hear your music or call, but you also hear traffic, voices, and warning sounds. Safety isn't compromised. Battery life lands comfortably ahead of Ray-Ban Meta. You get several hours of continuous playback without needing a case. And charging is direct. No proprietary accessories. Just plug in and go. Weight is another understated advantage. Chamelo manages to stay lightweight despite its more aggressive design. Over time, that matters. Especially during long runs or commutes. There's no camera here either, and again, that's intentional. These glasses aren't about documenting your day. They're about powering through it. Ray-Ban Meta tries to be a lifestyle companion. Chamelo tries to be invisible while you move. So when you look at the full picture, something becomes undeniable. Ray-Ban Meta isn't being beaten because it's bad. It's being challenged because it's narrow. It prioritizes social moments and brand presence over endurance, adaptability, and specialization. Each of these alternatives exposes a different weakness: display capability, battery life, durability, modularity, wellness integration, outdoor performance. Ray-Ban Meta does some things well, but it doesn't dominate across categories. And in a market this young, that matters. The smart glasses space is no longer about one product doing everything. It's about products doing specific things well. And once users realize they don't have to accept compromises just because a brand is famous, the conversation changes. That's why people are switching. Not out of hype, not out of rebellion, but out of practicality. So now I want to hear from you. Which approach makes the most sense for your life? Are you team camera first, all-in-one social gadget? Or do you prefer endurance, displays, fitness, or motion-focused designs? Drop your thoughts below. I read every comment, and if this breakdown helped you see the smart glasses market a little more clearly, make sure you subscribe. There's a lot more coming, and the next wave of wearables is only getting more interesting.